The dark side of Nickelodeon, and more specifically Dan Schneider. Dan created many hit shows on Nickelodeon such as Victorious, iCarly, and Drake and Josh, just to name a few. In March of 2018, seemingly out of nowhere, Nickelodeon parted ways with Dan, leaving people questioning why they would separate with one of their biggest producers. This made people start to look for more information, and that's when the rumors and theories started. According to this theory, Dan Schneider has a sick interest in his young female actresses.
Hey Dan Schneider, I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Vine. Look what you've done to me.
It seems Dan Schneider has a weird fetish with feet, and he used his shows to satisfy his obsession. Take a look at this clip from iCarly, where Dan has Sam and Carly make a toe family with their feet. Or this clip from Victorious, where Tori takes online requests from viewers, and the first request she gets is to have her rub ketchup all over her feet and make them do a little dance. In the first episode of the online show Kat's Random Thoughts, Dan has Kat stick her big toe in her mouth. And these are only a few of the many examples where feet are the center point of a joke. Then on September 13th, 2013, the Sam and Kat Twitter account tweeted out this. Right on the bottom of your foot, take a pic and use the hashtag SamandCatSaturday. And a lot of people did. This was just one of the many foot-related tweets Dan and his shows put out. Things got even weirder in the online show called Kat's Random Thoughts on theslap.com. Dan Schneider made a lot of questionable decisions with the way this show was edited and written. Take a look at these clips from the show that have led some people to believe they have a much darker suggestion.
Swingy thing in the back of your throat right here. I'm soaking wet! Is it possible for a teenage girl to drink water upside down?
If those clips don't convince you, maybe this will. In 2004, producer Brian Peck was convicted of several disgusting acts towards a minor and served 16 months in prison. The victim has remained anonymous, but according to the reports, the child was involved in the Amanda Show. So what does this have to do with Dan Schneider? Well, in a 2002 article titled Groomed to Be All That, it was revealed that Dan Schneider and Brian Peck would host a 2-week-long comedy camp where their parents would send their kids that were aspiring to be stars. I'll leave you with this audio from a person who attended one of these camps.
They had a pool, they had like tennis courts, and I believe it was like Megan Fox and other female celebs, and Hillary Duff was another one who got discovered there at the pool. And they would push you to do pool activities because they said that's where you have the highest chance of getting discovered.
Now, what was the age range of the people that went to these at these camps?
The age ranges, the ones that I was familiar with, are ages 13 to 22.
Today we're going to talk about my favorite conspiracy theory that I think is a lot more true than people give it credit for. Goth Boy Click killed Lil Peep. This is Lil Peep's grandma, and she's always said the same thing. His grandmother has been very adamant about posting online about how Mariah was a patsy and MacNet set her up so he could kill Lil Peep. MacNet was also a very serious drug addict. MacNet ordered the Xanax from Mariah and switched them out with the pills that he already had that were laced. Peep had already taken the laced pills before Mariah even got there. When Mariah said that there was something funky about how Peep was acting, MacNet kicked him off saying, "That's whack." MacNet had Lil Peep killed all because of money. So after the success of Come Over When You're Sober, Lil Peep had major offers from the major label. He made it public to the label that he was going to take a deal. MacNet knew once Lil Peep left the label, they were going to become irrelevant and lose money. But if an artist dies while they're still under contract, they will remain under contract forever. So when Lil Peep died and his album sales skyrocketed, Goth Boy Click made all that money. It took Peep's family over a year of fighting in court to get the rights back. During that whole time, Goth Boy Click was profiting off of all of Peep's album sales. Lil Peep's family ended up getting his royalties and rights back, but Goth Boy Click made millions during that time. Comment for a part 2.
Bro, if aliens aren't real, explain these paintings. We're gonna start with this one because this one threw me the most off guard. What the fuck is this? Saucers? Is that what they are? More saucers. I know y'all see this. Even if these aren't aliens, why are there so many things in ancient paintings that depict things being in the sky that we've never seen before? So while coming across all these pictures, I also ran into something called the ancient astronaut theory, which is the theory basically that aliens came down a long time ago and made communication with humans. And this is the reason for a lot of the advanced technology that some people had back then, a reason for a lot of the cultures, and a reason for a lot of the religions that took place back then, or some of the cultures and religions that still take place now, which is a very interesting theory in the fact that there are so many paintings, old ass paintings, to back this theory up, kinda makes me wonder.
Buckle up, because this is the most terrifying conspiracy theory I've ever talked about on this channel. And that is the theory that the world ended in 2012. Hear me out. We all know Stephen Hawking. There's this particle, and Stephen Hawking made a prediction that once this particle was discovered, the world could end. And sure enough, the particle was discovered in 2012. And a lot of people out there think that the world just seems very different than when it did in 2012 and before. And basically, when the world ended, when this particle was discovered, we were sucked into a different dimension. Which could be an explanation for the Mandela effect, because we're noticing all of these slight differences between this dimension and the one we were in before. I'm still shook over the fact that the Monopoly man never had a monocle, I swear he did. And while this sounds absolutely crazy, it is 2021, so anything could happen. What do you think?
Okay, so y'all, just hear me out for a second. So I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I don't know why no one else is talking about it. But does anyone remember back in 2019 when scientists were trying to open a portal to a parallel universe? Their goal was to open up this portal to a reality which was a mirror/alternative reality of our reality. I know, a lot of words. What's crazy to me is that the news of this was literally everywhere, and then boom, at the end of 2019 it was just gone. Now, I'm not saying that these scientists messed up, but I know we can all agree here that nothing has felt right since the end of summer 2019. Like, everything has felt off. Okay, so what if during this experiment they messed up, big time messed up, and they somehow messed up our reality in the process? Or they opened up this portal and then this alternative universe overlapped our universe and screwed up our timeline? 2020 was a disaster, 2021 so far. What if we've entered an alternate reality? Okay, let's talk about the Hollow Earth theory. Since the 14th century, theories about the Hollow Earth have been very common. But it wasn't until the 17th century when a scientist by the name of Edmund Halley proposed the theory. He said that the Earth was hollow and it can be accessed through the North and South poles. Now flash forward to 1928. An explorer by the name of Richard Byrd went to explore Antarctica. During his first trip there, he said he found a world within the Earth. Allegedly, he had recorded film of his 2 trips he took there. The film showed various mountains, rivers, trees, all within the Earth. He had wrote in his journal that the inside temperature was 74 degrees and that he had traveled 17 miles overlooking mountains, rivers, animals. He described animals of huge size, comparing them to woolly mammoths. He eventually found a civilization and was greeted by advanced aircraft. They forced him to land his plane and then took him to meet the king and queen of the civilization. They even told him they were worried about the surface because of nuclear testing.
The country of Finland doesn't exist according to this theory. According to this conspiracy, the world maps have been altered by the UN to keep people believing in Finland. But why would they make up a country in the first place? Well, it has to do with Japan's need for fish. We all know how much Japan loves its sushi, but due to tight fishing regulations and public outcry, they couldn't fish as much as they wanted to. So after the Cold War, Japan made a deal with Russia to create a landmass called Finland, which is actually a body of water so they could fish as much as they want. So the deal went like this. The fish would be transported through Russia, where a small percentage of the food is given to the population, and then it is shipped to Japan under the disguise of Nokia products. One of Finland's biggest companies is Nokia, and Nokia is apparently owned by Japan. And Japan is one of the world's largest importers of Nokia products, despite the fact that basically nobody there owns a Nokia phone. Here's my favorite part of the conspiracy, and it's been right in front of you this whole time. What do fish have? Fins. Therefore, Japan named its imaginary country Finland.
So this girl recently posted a video saying that when we were in 2020 last year, we were technically in a different dimension.
So the ball was a minute late dropping because we were switching back into our normal dimension.
And that's why, like you just heard, the ball was late dropping. And now there is some more things coming up that back this up. If you ask Siri, how many days until 2021?
It's 359 days until then.
Which makes no sense because 2021 was 6 days ago. But now if you type it on Google, how many days until 2021? It says 3 hours and 24 minutes. Also, if you use this Christmas countdown, it says Christmas is in 53 days. So how is time so screwed up right now?
Paul McCartney died in 1966 and was replaced by an imposter according to this theory. The gist of the theory is that on November 9th, 1966, after an argument during a Beatles recording session, Paul went speeding off in a car and ended up in a car accident resulting in his death. Then the UK agency MI5 had him replaced with a lookalike. The reason he was replaced was because of fears of mass hysteria and suicide if the news broke. Over the years, the Beatles felt bad about the cover-up and decided to leave clues in their album covers and songs. On the famous cover of Abbey Road where the Beatles are crossing a street, people came up with the theory that it's a funeral procession. John dressed in white is the preacher. Ringo dressed in black is the undertaker. George is dressed in blue jeans because he is the gravedigger. And Paul is wearing a black suit like a corpse. He is also out of step with the others and barefoot, which is a sign of mourning in Sicily. In his right hand is a cigarette that's pointing towards the ground, and in the 1960s, cigarettes were known as coffin nails in the UK, representing that the real Paul is in a coffin in the ground. That is just one of the many clues that have been found since this theory began in 1969.
Hi guys. So I'm a little creeped out and curious right now. I don't know if this has been talked about in the spiritual community. So do you guys remember that CIA document that was released earlier this year that was about astral projection, consciousness, other dimensions, your ability to create your own reality? I remember when that document was really popular on TikTok. But did anybody notice that there is a page missing? So the page that's missing is page 25, and let me tell you what page 24 talks about. Talking about concepts of the universe that were only learned by the elite in ancient high-up civilizations, Judeo-Christianity, Hebrew mystical philosophy, the Christian concept of the Trinity, and also the concept of a cosmic egg in Eastern religions. So basically it's talking about religion, which, you know, this really interests me because this is literally why so many people fight, is because of like religion, and because we don't know which one is the right religion. So I'm reading the document and I'm like, yes, tell me more, I'm intrigued. And the next page is missing, and this paragraph just stops mid-paragraph. I wanted to know if anybody else had noticed, and they have, and this girl actually said that she might have a theory on what might be on that page. She doesn't want to share it because she's scared.
Alright, here we go. We got another conspiracy that's probably gonna freak you the hell out. Let's do it. The Illuminati, right? Don't be playing no silly games. You know who they are. Now, despite what has been said and done about the Illuminati, most people refer to the Illuminati as stuff like this, or the all-seeing eye, correct? What I bet you didn't know is that when the Illuminati formed back in the 1700s, their original symbol was an owl. The reason behind the owl being the symbolization is because owls see in the dark and they can turn their heads 360 degrees. Basically, in layman's terms, they're always watching you. And this is where things start to get freaky. Let me see if I got one on me. Boom, right here, the dollar bill, right? This dollar bill has had a lot of conspiracies formed around it. From 9/11 conspiracy, the 13 stars representing a pentagram, aliens, and much more. Those are all just conspiracies. What I'm about to show you is 100% real. Keep in mind that this was done 100% on purpose, because they don't want you to know the truth. This cannot be seen on camera, it's gotta be seen with the naked eye, but there is an owl chilling right here next to the one. Don't believe me? Grab a dollar bill, try it for yourself.
This conspiracy theory is gonna be one of the craziest we've covered so far, and I must warn you, if you have anxiety, please do not watch this. So this theory, we're gonna talk about the movie Songbird, which is supposed to come out next year, and it's supposed to talk about COVID-23. So now we're going to talk about predictive programming. The definition is here. You can pause if you want to read it. But it's basically the media psychologically brainwashing us to accept something that's about to happen. And we saw this a lot with 9/11. There were so many cartoons imitating 9/11 before it actually happened. Now I'm going to show you pieces of the trailer which are really realistic.
Rise as we enter the 213th week of lockdown.
A grim new reality emerges.
COVID-23.
Curfew is now in effect. All unauthorized citizens must stay indoors. And 10 minutes.
All infected Americans are being forced into quarantine camps.
So what if the government is programming us to accept the next few lockdowns? Let me know in the comments.